In this video, I will be looking at this mysterious black box called the Seventh Continent. And like Hammerite paint, it does what it says on the tin. But it's a box. Yes, you will be exploring and surviving mysteriously. And then I'm going to be explaining to you why this is the best thing since the slinky guitar. So beware, I may play a tune that you may not like, and there may be some nuts involved. And yeah, I might give you some advice on how to play on this game. And I won't be showing you how to play the game, so it'll just be a review. But if that's what you want, let's dive right into how good is the Seventh Continent? You have not long discovered the Seventh Continent as explorers at the beginning of the 1900s. And you've come home and you've celebrated after naming it the Seventh Continent. Yes, we've discovered the Seventh Continent. It's a nice place to go. You should go there. And before you know it, members of your party start dying off mysteriously. And then one night you fall asleep in your bed and wake up in the Seventh Continent. Now, whether it's a dream or whether it's the curse itself, which has teleported you there, as they say in France. And it's up to you to try and survive, recounting your steps through the island, which is made up of cards as you map it out, and try and stay alive with your life force, which is a deck of cards, and make things which are cards, and do things which are cards, and survive and get rid of your curse. Did I say there was some dice? There's some dice in the game, but you don't roll them. Little disclaimer before I go on. I've only played this game as a solo player, so I can't commentate on how this game works with playing with other people in a group. The other disclaimer I'd like to mention is that I have not added any of the expansions to this game. So I've played just with the base game and cards itself. And the last thing I need to say is I have been involved in this project. Now, you can take this with a pinch of salt if you want. I actually did the soundtrack for the game, so you can listen to it while you're playing it and you can hear it on this video. So take that for what it is. Let's move on. So as I think of it, there's another disclaimer I have to say. I've never beaten this game. Now, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Also, when I get to the end, will it be a, satisfying, yes, I've done it? Will it be a kind of, oh, well done, you've done it. Try playing with another curse. I can't tell you. I don't know. I haven't been there. Will it affect my review? Possibly. But I've already pumped in 30 hours of game with this game. And that's something that I can't say I've done a lot with this collection here. I haven't pumped 30 hours into any of these games here apart from Arkham Horror, Viticulture, which is not here, and Splendor as well. They're games that I play and I've played a lot, and even though they're like shorter games, I can say quite easily Viticulture 30 hours, but 30 hours on this game, and I've had it only 2 weeks. There's something that keeps drawing me back in. Now, is it the Groundhog Day challenge of, you start your day here and you go, whoa, what am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to go and look at that tree and lick it. And then find out that it's got, Hammerite paint on it and then die of lead poison. Because you're going to die! This game should be Dark Souls the game. You are going to die. But you're going to learn from your experiences and move on. And maybe get past that point, if you can remember that you're not supposed to lick the tree. This is Edge of Tomorrow, and you you kind of like, ah, I died. But in Edge of Tomorrow, I go, yes, Tom Cruise died, yes! I'm not a Tom Cruise fan, no. Apart from in Tropic Thunder. He's good in that. But anywho, when you die, it's like, ah! You want to throw your PlayStation controller across the room, especially after the 5th time. I've died 5 times, and after the 5th time I was like, no, I'm never gonna get past this. But I keep coming back to it with more determination. I should have done that. I need to reserve my food and then cook it on a fire because I get more points that way. I need to get some more intelligence and then sleep so I can use that experience to get other ideas into my deck, which will make my life longer, which will, you know, there's all these things that you're learning. And the game also has things that your character will learn. So there's lots of things dotted around this island that you're going to look at and go, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. But then you might find some article or something and you'll go, okay, whenever you see this flower on your space, you can eat the berries from it and it will kill you from your poison state. I didn't know that last time. And you probably won't know it the next time because it's an event which happens to your character there and then, not in another character in another curse. Yes, it's a sandbox where one day you're going over here and building a sandcastle, and over there you're digging a hole, and over there you're eating the brown sand, which tastes disgusting. And then the next day you're breaking down the sandcastle, and then you're burying yourself in that hole and avoiding the sand over there because you know what that tastes like. So yes, this island will always be the same every time you play and every time you visit this island. But like Skyrim, it changes a few things along the way. You might go to a cave in Skyrim and there might be like a clan of bears there. And then later on in the game, after you've obliterated the bears, you go there again and you might find a tribe of Forsworn there and different treasure. And this game does the same thing. Not only do you have the Fog of War, which are these cards here, which will cover over the land which you haven't explored yet, and these will have events, some good, some bad, that you'll have to encounter. Some of them will be spur of the moment, you'll have to deal with it now. Some of it will be things that you can do a bit later on, and some of it might be just something that you pick up and put in your pocket and walk away with. Then there are the areas that you look at stuff. You know, as I said, the tree with hammerite paint on it. Sometimes you might look at that tree and it might not have hammerite paint on it. It might just be a tree which is dripping honey. Or it might be a tree which is falling down. It's going to be different in certain locations for certain things. Also, when you play the game, you might not have to hand your figurine spoon that you had in the last game, which would have helped you dig a tunnel underneath the termite nest to help you survive and help you live to get to where you're supposed to. But you know, you didn't have it. You should have built it. You should have preconceived that you were going to go in that direction and you were going to do that. Much like if you know that you need to get to the snowy area of the settlement continent, you're going to need your snowshoes, which will help you get there easily. And then there are the characters. There are 2, 4, 6, 7 different characters that you can play. Each has their own special power, which you can use anytime, and they also have their own cards which go into your life deck, which will give you different kind of replayability value, because one of them's a nurse, one of them's good at survival. Frankenstein's great at digging up corpses and amputating himself to make himself, again, yeah, it's not very thematic, but he is a Kickstarter exclusive, kind of just for fun character. Everything you do is going to drain your energy deck. You walk from one space to another, you're going to put a card into the discard pile, or maybe more. You build something, it's going to cost you energy. You put them into your discard deck. You do anything, it's going to put it into the discard deck. And it's getting the cards out of this deck and back into your energy pile, which is going to save you and keep you going. This is Coal Hunter. You're chucked on an island and you've got to survive. Let's talk a bit about the mechanisms of the game. Now, I've told you about this deck of cards, which is your life force, which you're going to be using to push your luck and do things throughout the world. But it's not only that it does. Every time you do an action, you take the cards that you've used to see if you're successful or not. So you're not rolling dice to go, oh yeah, I've crossed the bridge, I've killed the monster. You're actually looking at these stars which appear on the edge of the card, and you're seeing if your success rate has passed the requirement that is needed to succeed at doing that task, because you either fail it or you pass it. And then afterwards you get to keep one of these cards in your hand. And these cards are ideas. These cards are things that you can build. These cards are ways of getting cards from your discard pile back into your hand, or, you know, because there might be an object that you used and you want it back again. You need that weapon. Or there might be a card that's still in the deck here that you need to get out. These cards will help you get past tests quite easily. They might give you a bonus success already. So there. This deck of cards, very valuable, and these cards, as you can see, are sleeved because you will be shuffling these a lot. These cards will be used constantly throughout your game. There is the whole kind of explore mechanism done with the cards, which is very reminiscent of your own choose your own adventure books. Yes, and not only is it just text based, but it's visual based, where you are looking for clues in each location. It's not just a case of there's something that I can do there. Sometimes you've got to look for that something to do there. And then that might take you somewhere else, or it might give you some help, or it might just cripple you. And then there's the save game mechanism, in which every time you get to a point where you think, well, I need to go to bed now, which will happen a lot, you will save the game. You will collect all the cards, all the objects that you built, all the this discard pile, the action pile, the one location that you are, all your maladies and all your information and all your intelligence will be piled into a deck, and you put it away, and that takes a minute to do. And then you have the loading of the game, much like, you're not waiting for your ZX Spectrum to, when you push the cassette button to load your game. You actually just 1 minute and bang, the game is there. Although there is a bit of a drawback. You will be taking cards out from the past. The past is cards that have been activated and then they go away. When you save your game or when you die, these cards need to be put back into their location because they're all numbered, and you will feel like a bit of a librarian, and that might take a bit of time as you put them away. And again, if you put a card away in the wrong place, it might hamper your game the next time you play. But the system works. You've also got this banished section, which is cards which will never come back into your game. You know, it might be an object that you might have needed, which is thrown away, or it might be a location that you've done something in which you shouldn't have, and now it's altered the game. And again, these cards don't come back. And then there are the things that you build through the game. You might build a raft, and you can only build a certain amount of objects and carry a certain amount of objects around. In a solo game, I can carry 4 objects. I can carry a raft, and I can carry a bolas, and I can carry a blowpipe. Or I could combine them all into one object, like a Swiss Army Jacquard. And that way I can just carry, that's one object now. That's one object which will help me out on all of these kinds of tests. But at the same time, they have a durability, which is why you have dice. The dice will indicate how many times you've used that object, and that will go down every time you use a skill from one of these objects, which will lead you to start thinking about, what am I going to combine together and when should I use it? Because every time you do a test, you have to say, right, I'm going to use my raft, bolas, blowpipe to help me jump this ravine. And then it gets degraded. And then you do your test of drawing cards and seeing if you succeed or not with the result included. There is a way around this, of course. If you equipped an item with the same keyword marked on the bottom, you can actually add the results of the durability together, which will then go up to 6 maximum because it is a 6-sided dice. And this will help you get through the game and you know, prolong your equipment, because you don't want to lose your Jakar spoon, do you? Now, people say that that's not thematic, having a war-painted flute bow, but that's part of the survival of the game. You can't just take everything with you, and it becomes a nice kind of like puzzle for me technically, where you're trying to make stuff that's going to serve you and last. And you know, you might not want to attach the meat to your spoon, but you might not have a choice. It might give you that chance to use that spoon one more time. And talking about theme, this game is full of theme. I could say that if you listen to the soundtrack, the theme will just take you away. But the theme there's a subliminal theme. Now, yes, you're going to do a Groundhog Day, you're going to play, you're going to die, you're going to have to start again and do the same thing over and over again. But if you think about it, the story of the game is you are adventurers who have already discovered the seventh continent. You've already mapped it out. And you've gone home, and all of a sudden you've been zapped back. Now, when you open the box for the first time, you don't know where anything is. But after a while, once you've played a few more times and a few more times, and you've learned that that's there and that's there, and if you've got a good memory and you remember where everything is, that helps. But if you've got a poor memory like me, it's like, whoa, this is a new adventure. Oh look, there's a tree with paint on it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But that's the theme. The theme is there. It's kind of like a subliminal theme. You have explored, you're using your memory of how, when you explored the island before, to try and hopefully get past this dilemma that you have. And story. No story, really. It's like life. You're born and you die. In this game, you're plunked on the island. You either scratch your itch that you've got or you die. But it's those moments between those points which make your story. I could tell you the story about the time that I had no energy left. I had no cards to draw. I had to draw from the discard pile, which means if I'd have drawn a curse, I'd die. Luckily, I was on a zone where I could hunt, and the only animal that I could hunt was a bear, which is a tough creature to kill. And so I had to draw cards from the discard deck and hopefully not draw a curse card. And I managed to kill the bear. And I managed to get lots of meat out of the bear, which give me, you know, oh, I can survive, I can do this, I can do this. I know what, I need to build a fire, because if I build a fire and cook the meat, I'll be able to take lots of cards out of the discard pile and make an energy life deck, and I'll be saved. Could I make a fire? No, because I cursed and died. And that was it. That was, But it's a great story. The game is full of little moments like that. The time that you fell down the chute, or you climbed and discovered this over there, and oh, so many great things can happen. This is a great emotional, tense game where everything that you do is like you're on the edge of your nails, you know, and everything is a puzzle and everything is a strategic kind of grasping at straws moment. It's phenomenal, and that's what keeps dragging me back into this game. So let's talk about what you're going to get in the box. But the game is cards, so you're going to get a bucket load of cards, even with just the base game. And they are very good quality. As I said though, I have sleeved my action cards because the amount of shuffling that I've done with them, I have started to nick away at the edges, so I thought I better protect them here and now, and then it's done. That's just me being namby-pamby. Some of the cards have printing errors on it. You're going to need to go to the 7th Continent site to check the ETERA and the FAQ to see which ones these are. Some of them are just, they don't change the game at all, but there are a few which will change your experience. But you'll be able to get replacement cards at the new Kickstarter. So, the library system is solid. This is solid card with nice dividers, so everything is easy to find and sort out. You have these wonderful dice. The standard dice are very good. I prefer to use the standard dice to the bone dice due to the fact that they are lovely and they're just sometimes a bit too hard to read, and I want something visually to pick me, oh, I can use that item 3 times. Although I do have a dice which has 2 faces with 3 on it, which is strange. The discard pile standee here, which you will have to take apart to put back in the box, is very cool because it has 2 powers, and you can choose one of these powers and you make it displayable here, and then you can use that action whenever there's a grave site, which is cool. There was a sack which included the dice in, and then there's the minis. Minis are very mini, they're very small, but they work with the scale of the cards. They're very nice, they are kind of distinguishable, but I do prefer to use the good old standee because it's in colour, and there was a couple of times when I've been moving the campfire around the board with the miniatures instead of my character. And luckily it's just me playing, so it didn't screw up the game too much. A good old handy dandy reference sheet, which was useful, and of course a rule book, which unfortunately could do with a bit more expanding. There are things that you'll read and you go, okay, that's how you do that action, but being an open-ended adventure game, a sandbox game, you'll try to do something different which is not in the rules, and it's not written there that you can't do it. So the rules need these kind of little, well, you can't do this and you can't do that, and maybe just a few more examples. One handy dandy piece of material is this magnifying glass, which you're going to use to look for clues on the cards on the island, especially when you can't find your glasses when you're playing. This is very, very useful. All in all, the product is stunning, and the artwork, although it's not my kind of style, it works for the game. I'm not distracted by anything. I've kind of got used to it. I have been playing this game for 30 hours, and plus I played the prototype like 7 times. So the artwork, it works. It's a gorgeous game. It's well produced, although there are a few flaws. So my technical score will be a 9 out of 10. But the mechanics, that's the mechanics as well. The mechanics included in that technical score. The mechanics are great. They just work so well. This is Skyrim in a box, and I am so happy. Let's go to my personal review. So as you can probably tell, I love this game. Even though there's those moments where I'm just frustrated because I've died again and again. I've died 5 times, but yet I still come bouncing back to this game. This game is an enjoyable adventure experience where I am discovering things all the time. There's rules and things that I still haven't found yet. There's a lot of replayability just with the base cards themselves, which I'm finding amazing. There's 4 curses. And I have jumped a bit around with some of them. I've done this one a couple of times and I've tried another one. And I've actually found the answer to another curse while doing a different curse. So now I know what I'm doing. Now, if you're saying that's going to take away from the replayability, I disagree. Because this game is about survival. It's you know, making the most of your resources to get you to where you've got to go. The first time you play, you don't know where to go. You're just like totally lost. And it's just a case of, well, you have to discover the land and you have to find it. As I said, it's like the subliminal kind of message in the game. You've already explored the island and now all of a sudden you're transported there immediately. So this whole discovery thing and survival are the key elements of the game. And the memory also plays a very important part, because the amount of times that I've fallen into the same trap, dull. This game I love to bits. My board game geek rating is a 10 out of 10. This is a game that I'm going to continue to play, not just to try and beat it, but because I enjoy it so much. Will that change when I start adding the expansions and playing with several other players? I do not know. But if you want Skyrim in a box and you can play it on a table solo, then this is the game for you. And I love playing Skyrim. How many times have I started as a Khajiit, an Andorian, and a Nord, and yeah, I have played that game 600 hours. This I've played 30 hours, and I'm gonna play some more. So there you have it, that's the 7th continent. Is it your slinky guitar or your Jakar spoon? I'll leave it up to you to decide. Hopefully this video has pointed you in the direction whether you should get this or not, because you don't have to own every single board game out there, you just need to own a few good ones. And hopefully I'll help you make up your mind. So I will say, if you like this video and found it entertaining, give it a like. If you found that it's a video for a friend of yours, share it with them. And if you want to help sponsor the show, you can donate some money to my Patreon, Board Games Everybody Should, and get yourself some board gaming promos, or maybe get yourself entered into my monthly prize draw and win yourself something. But I will now say ciao for now. Thanks for watching, and remember to play nice with each other, please. Now I'm gonna play this game as soon as I find my glasses. Where did I leave them? Just sitting at the table next to Felicia would be quite nice. Wouldn't it be good? I got some board game sauce.